This week we've been looking at the ideas that are found in a little children's song. Be careful, little eyes, what you see. Be careful, little ears, what you hear. Be careful, little mouth, what you say. Be careful, little hands, what you do. Great concept. But also we need to look at the proactive side. And today we're going to be looking at the idea, be careful, little hands, that you do. There are certain things that our hands should be doing. It's rather interesting when you look back at the Old Testament book of Nehemiah. There in the book of Nehemiah, we find that there is a commitment to build the wall. The wall is broken down. They've been back from captivity for some time, but the wall is down and the city is in disgrace, and Nehemiah is leading the people in building the wall. And they're facing great opposition. Matter of fact, at one point, they had to build with one hand and hold the weapon with the other hand. And I want you to notice a great point in verse number 6 of chapter 4, Nehemiah 4, verse 6. So we built the wall, and the entire wall was joined together up to half its height, for the people had a mind to work. Isn't that great? You know, we need to have the same attitude, and we need to realize, God expects us to work. In 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse number 10, there Paul talks about people who walk disorderly. And now let me tell you who he's talking about. Listen to verse 10. For even when we were with you, we commanded you this: if anyone will not work, neither shall he eat. Boy, I tell you what, that's not necessarily popular. But you see, God is saying that if you're capable of work, God expects you to work. Why? Is it some sort of punishment? Oh no, it's not punishment. In Genesis chapter 2 and verse number 15, we see that God planted a garden. He makes a man, and He places man in the garden. And in verse 15, we see that He placed man in the garden to tend the garden. You see, God has blessed us with the opportunity to be able to work. It's a blessing. I mentioned one time in a sermon that there are some people who do not know how not to work. You probably know some folks like that. And then I said, and then there are some folks who do not know how to work. After the lesson, a fellow came up to me and said, you missed one group. There's a group that does not know they're supposed to work. That's exactly right. We need to make sure that we put these hands to work to the glory and honor of God. Join us tomorrow.